Welcome to another episode of NeverEndingPanel.com. Tonight's topic is, do alternate timelines exist and will humans ever meet them? Our special guest tonight is Darnell Coleman, who is on the board of directors of Las Fez, who is the assistant librarian here at Las Fez, and is a Baptist minister. I'm not sure what that has to do with alternative timelines, but I'm sure we'll find out. And of course, my brother and fellow creator and producer and production guy of a show, NeverEndingPanel.com, Eitan Cullen. So let's get into the meat of it. Do alternate timelines exist? How would we ever even know that for a fact? Well, it's on Wikipedia. It must be true. No, and will humans ever meet them? Not even sure if a timeline is something that you can meet necessarily in that kind of way, but you could certainly pop into it a la Doctor Who, possibly, not according to Larry Niven. Stop me from talking.
Okay, it breaks down into two parts. If alternate timelines exist, yes, we will meet them. Eventually, the technology at some point will be there.
Well, what do you mean by meet them?
Well, one of two ways. One, you either cross over physically. Of course, then you got a matter of dealing with universal mass. Can you actually exchange mass and add mass to a universe, or is it a closed system? Is it not? We have no idea. For all we know, our universe actually exchanges mass through black holes and white holes and so on.
Well, no,
there's simply enough that we don't know.
According to the laws of our universe, you couldn't.
That we understand so far.
Right, that we understand so far.
Of course, 90% of our universe technically doesn't exist, so what are we going to do with that?
Dark matter.
Darn science.
Darn science. But again, if alternate timelines exist, yes. That could mean we can simply have a nice little video screen so we can actually wave at each other. Or my favorite one from the early Futurama, that's the one where they wear cowboy hats.
So you're saying this
Or,
is you're talking about the sideways in time theory, that every decision we make, another of us makes that decision, and these decisions are
every possible outcome.
Every possible outcome. So you could slip over to another one, assuming that it hasn't happened yet. You can't. Well, according to the laws that we understand, you can't actually go backwards, but you can get to that one before it happens if it's going a little slower. Brain, Sterling says, brain hurt. Yes.
Or you can simply go to a side. You can simply go to one where it's 2010, May 6th, only there the South won the Civil War, or there was no Civil War, or America was never settled, or Atlantis didn't sink. But it's still technically May 6, 2010, however they decide to call their number system, and we might be able to either A, view it, or C, interact with it.
Affect it. Probably we could affect it. And
right, because it's a separate timeline from ours, it doesn't affect.
So,
we can't kill our grandfather, so to speak.
then you could.
Right.
People could also change that timeline.
Well, it's not that you can kill your grandfather; it's that
army.
your grandfather might not have existed in that one.
Got it.
Or he might have. Now,
but it won't make any difference to you because
won't make any difference to you because you're in a different track.
But
now that's not time travel. That is
sideways
alternate timelines.
Yeah.
But you could bring in groups of people from another timeline,
like a fam tour.
Yeah, or a Baptist conquest, where the Baptist Church comes in with massive amounts of missionaries.
And that is why we have a Baptist minister on NeverEndingPanel.com.
To move on, to a good army or a group.
So, conquest by tambourine?
We call it missionary.
It's talking.
Assassination of John F. Kennedy, what if it never happened in another timeline? Would we have attacked...
Did it really happen in this one?
Would we have attacked Cuba? Would the Soviet Union have retaliated, et cetera, et cetera? Another option is the Japanese were threatening an invasion of California during World War II, which never happened. What if it did? Stuff like that.
You haven't been to UCLA. Ooh, cut that out.
Go
ahead.
UCLA,
yes,
United Caucasians, also amongst Asians.
Well, what I'm thinking is, speaking of religion, I'm Mormon, and we believe that God is the God of our universe, but there's other universes with other gods. Now, this would imply an entirely different universe that's not split off from us, but is created by another God mind. Entirely.
But once the missionaries come in from this realm, the
Man,
transformation will begin in Christianity. Our God will come in and
we're
take
all
that
over that third rail, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, this is our God. He isn't your God. You better get smart and follow
Still
our heart.
alternate timeline transformation.
Yes. Michelle,
Well, just an argument with Darnell.
you got to speak louder because it's these microphones that are picking you up.
Either that or man will evolve past the need for any gods, hopefully. But I've caught different changes
That's a whole
in the
different panel.
timeline.
Yeah.
So it's just...
Well, what do you mean? You've caught changes in the timeline?
Okay, there was a song that was on an album by the Lightning Seeds, and now it's on a separate album. I remember buying the album, listening to it, because I only own one Lightning Seeds album.
Oh,
And
I know
liked
what she's talking about. The Lincoln assassination in 1862 that missed by an inch. There are various things, if you look closely, you can see where maybe there's been manipulation. That's different. I'm not sure whether our timeline has been altered, which is a fun topic in and of itself. In fact, we might add that to the list.
That's a great one. Arlene, add that to the list.
Has our timeline been altered?
Has our timeline been altered?
Already.
And there's a lot of evidence out there that
If
has.
you
This
have
isn't-
kids, your timeline is altered every morning. Yes, go ahead.
I think, though, for this concept, do alternate timelines exist, and will humans ever meet them? I'm not sure they actually exist. That's the only problem. I think that, yes, if they do exist, we will meet them, because there's just so much interest. And by the way, we don't have to be the ones looking. Someone
I
can look
believe-
into us.
I believe they exist, and it's one of the few things I take from science. Is that the conceptual mathematicians and quark technology says that they go somewhere. That little pieces of atoms go to other places or other parts.
There's the explicate and the intricate universe.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
However, there's a theory that there simply isn't enough energy in the universe to actually sustain more than one. This whole thing where universes constantly branch and then exist on their own things might simply be they constantly branch and then die almost instantly, and we are one constant universe existing therein.
But as you said, energy can be swapped back and forth from the timelines.
Soundman Tim, you look like you had something to say.
Well, I was just wondering. I mean, it seems like kind of a lazy science fiction idea to do the multiple universes thing. Because of course, if there's going to be one multiple universe, then there has to be an infinite number of them. Because every possible decision or every possible thing that has any element of chance could go one way or the other. So it seems actually rather unlikely that there would be multiple
the worms
universes.
crawl left and the worms crawl right. The worms.
By the way, a Las Vegas member and frequent audience member, Larry Nivens, echoed that exact sentiment, that is a very lazy way to sort of approach timeline and time travel, because it's just there and it's easy.
He's written some great books about it.
I suspect there's not quite an infinite number because some of them would converge. Okay, you say you take the wrong turn going home, and you get, and the person, and in another alternate universe, you went a faster way, but later in the evening, it's not going to matter which one of you got home an hour earlier. Eventually, the timeline's going.
It doesn't matter if you got home earlier or not. The idea is that one hung a right, one hung a left, one left the stop sign at 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, and
One ran over a leaf,
4.2
which therefore wasn't there
seconds.
for one
But
to
it
eat,
doesn't
the
really
other one
affect
didn't.
anything else, so eventually one of the timelines will just converge back into it because it affects nothing different.
Well, but that's subatomically it would be different, right? And that actually matters quite a
Extra
bit.
hour of driving
Actually,
has put
it
an
sounds
infinitesimal more
like a
pollution
Doctor
into
Who
the-
episode, but that's another story.
Well, our executive producer talked out of turn.
Oh.
Hair.
Yes, well, I mean,
Hair.
who is?
Hair talked in turn.
Good hair.
Yeah. Well, if she sucked a butterfly into a radiator going one way and didn't suck the butterfly into a radiator in the other way, it could change the whole universe.
Well, you know what? I think we're going to have to end on butterfly radiator suckage, because how are you going to top that?
I agree. Butterfly radiators suck.
Thank you.
That's a band. Weren't they
and
playing
that,
Mr. T's Blow?
that wraps up this episode of NeverEndingPanel.com. Thank you as we move into our awkward pause.